little Pilates session. So this session is sort of intermediate to advanced. So if you are completely new to Pilates and if you have kind of injuries and things, I would suggest just taking it a little bit easier and kind of listening to your own body. But we are going to work through a series of exercises today, a little bit of mobility as well. So you need a little bit of space. You don't need any equipment, and we are going to get started standing up. So bring yourself to your feet. We're going to be here for about 40 minutes. So we're going to start off with a little bit of mobility just through the spine. So I want you to take your feet about hip width apart and start with a space out in front of you. Stand nice and tall, your shoulders are back and down and your ears are over your shoulders. So start off with a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, your chin tucks towards your chest, your shoulders roll forward and you round the spine. Just slowly roll all the way down, upper back, middle back and lower back. You can bend the knees if you need to, and I want you to walk your hands out and bring your body into a nice long plank position. So when you're in your plank, your shoulders are over your hands, your hips are about the height of your shoulders. And then you want to lift your hips back up and walk your hands all the way in again. And you're going to restack your spine, so rolling from the heels, hips come over the heels, then the ribs, then the shoulders, and then set that head back up on top of the shoulders. Same again, so breath in, breathe out, roll all the way down. Now, as you're rolling down, I want you to really try and relax the upper body. And then this time, a little bend in the knees. Walk your hands all the way out. And I want you to bring the hands back out under the shoulders. And this time, you're going to intentionally drop the hips a little, but squeeze the bum muscles and open the chest. So we're supporting the back in this extended position, just if it feels good for the body. And then lift the hips back up again. Walk your hands and roll yourself back up to standing. Good. We're going to go for two more. So this time we're going to add a little bit of movement through those hips. So round in the spine, roll all the way down, walk your hands out. And then this time when you're all the way out, I want you to step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Now if you need to, you can drop your right knee to the floor. If you've got the range, you can keep the right knee up. And I want you to try and sink into a nice stretch for the front of your right hip flexor and for the inside of that left thigh. Now again, maybe you just stay here, or if you want a little bit more, you rotate, you lift your left hand to the ceiling, you turn your torso, and you get that thoracic spine moving. Good, the hand comes back down, the left foot steps back, you push your hips up and walk your hands all the way in again. Restack, roll up through the body. Good, last one like this, roll all the way down, rounding the back, walking the hands all the way out, and then this time it's the right foot, so bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Again, you can drop the knee if you need to, or keep the leg lifted. I want you to try and keep the chest nice and open. And the same thing again, you keep your left hand down and you turn to the right. You reach the right hand up, you rotate through your thoracic spine, and you move through the middle of that body. Hands come all the way back down. I want you to push your right foot back, lift your hips a little, and then lower back down into your plank position again. Now, if it's too much, just drop to the knees. But if you can, try to keep your shoulders over your hands, your eyes just a few kind of inches in front of your fingertips, and then think about lifting the belly button up and in. We're going to do a little bit of moving left to right, so I want you to lift your hips up and over to the left, and then up and over to the right. So imagine you're trying to lift over the middle of something, and focus on those side muscles of your core. So you come up to go over, and then swap sides. Feet are nice and close, shoulders are nice and stable, the hips are lifted a little bit higher than the shoulders. Good, you've got three more. Keep breathing, last two. Good, now last one, come back to center for me. I want you to try and keep that lovely long spine. You're going to rock forward, take your weight over your hands into your shoulders. Rock back, take your weight towards your heels. So it's inhale, rock forward, lift the belly button away from the floor. Exhale, rock back. Good, you've got two more. Forward and back. Last one, all the way forward and all the way back. Bring yourself back to plank and step your feet a little bit wider so the feet are wider than the hips. You're just going to give me little shoulder taps. Right hand comes off the floor, taps left shoulder, hold. Right hand comes down, left comes off the floor, taps the shoulder, hold. So when you're doing this, you're trying to resist that rotation through the middle of the body. You're trying to keep your oblique muscles, which are right at the side of your core, engaged. And your bum muscles will help you a little bit here as well. So right tap and then left tap. Okay, just give me one more each side. Keeping your upper body nice and steady as well. Imagine you're bouncing a ball across your back. Good, last one, stopping there. Bring your knees down and take a shelf stretch. Round your spine. Reach your hips back to your heels. Pull the tummy away from the thighs. And take a nice deep breath across the back of your chest. And exhale to relax. Good. You're going to come all the way down onto your front for me. So I want you to lie down on your tummy. And we're going to do a little bit of work into the upper back. So those upper back extensor muscles. Now you're going to start off with your hands in a W position. So the hands are level with the ears. The shoulders are relaxed forward. Your head will be relaxed down as well, but while I'm speaking, I'm just keeping turned towards you. So your lower back is probably the part of your body that is what is going to want to kind of collapse here. So I want you to keep the belly button drawn in and think about lengthening the lower back out as opposed to collapsing and letting the lower back drop into a big dip. You want to make sure your bottom rib stays on the floor here because we're just lifting the upper back. So shoulders roll forward, eyes are down. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to roll your shoulders back away from the floor, press into your forearms and start to lift your chest. Now think about leading this with your chest, your head will follow, and then your body rolls all the way down again, your shoulders roll forward. Same again, inhale, exhale, shoulders roll back, shoulder blades squeeze together and draw down to the back pockets. You press through those forearms and lift your sternum away from the floor, your chest, your breastbone, and relax all the way down. Good. So 2 more. I want you to keep working here. I want you to think about all of those muscles from the bottom rib and upwards, so towards the shoulder blades, right across your upper back. Such important muscles for your posture. And if you're someone who sits at a desk a lot or rounds over kind of a computer, this is a really good exercise to get these muscles wakened up and just to remind you that you have them there to use rather than just being lengthened and weak. Hold your last one up for me. So roll the shoulder blades back, hold this one up. Your eyes should be looking at the floor just a few inches in front of where your fingertips are. Now you're going to see if you can keep your height and lift your left hand off the floor. Make sure your belly button doesn't push into the floor. And then lift your right arm off the floor, hold. So we've got that lovely squeeze between the shoulder blades using those rhomboid muscles. You're going to extend your arms out in front of you. Take a nice deep breath in as you do that. It will become harder to stay up high, so don't worry if you drop a little. And then exhale, pull the elbows back to that W position again. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. So you inhale, dive forward. Exhale, draw back. Think about a bow and arrow type sensation. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Give me 1 more. Remember your shoulders are nice and wide. Your collarbones are open. And then pop the hands down and relax all the way down. You're going to push back from your hands. You're going to round your back again. And take that nice inhale breath. Exhale, release. Good. I want you to come over onto your back for me now. So we're going to have a lie down. And you're going to do a little bit of work just rolling up through your spine. So I want you to start off with your feet quite close to your hips. Your feet are about hip width apart. And then your lower back starts in a neutral position. So you have curves in your spine. You just want to make sure that they're not too big in one direction or the other, or that your back's not too flat. So with your lower back in neutral, you shouldn't be able to slide your arm all the way under the small of your back. But at the same time, your back shouldn't be pushing into the floor. There's that tiny little gap just for your fingertips. So starting in neutral, take an inhale. As you exhale, I want you to tilt your pelvis back. So I want you to feel like you're tipping back, your tummy scoops in, and you slowly start to peel yourself up off the floor. So lower back first, middle back next, and then come onto your upper back. Spread your weight across your shoulder blades. Take a deep inhale here. And then as you breathe out, you're slowly rolling down through your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. So you're trying not to set your spine down in big chunks. You're trying to let every little joint in the back work and let your spine lengthen out and find that neutral position at the start again for me. Good. So same again. Breathe in. Your breath out is really important because when we breathe out, the core naturally contracts a little bit to help get the air out of the lungs. So that's actually going to help you here to get that nice pulled in effect and that roll up through your back. Come all the way onto shoulder blades, breathe in. As you breathe out, you're rolling down, and I want you to think about lengthening your back. So it's as if you're trying to reach your tailbone all the way down towards your heels. Good. Last one. Inhale here, and then exhale. Big tilt back, hollow through the tummy, roll all the way up. You're going to hold this one up on the shoulder blades, and I want you to just make sure it is truly your shoulder blades you're on, so you should be able to lift your head. We don't want to overload that C-spine. And I want you to make sure your bum muscles are tight. That was my hip that just clicked. So bum muscles are nice and tight. Core draws in, and you want to keep your back in the same position. Your heels are going to lift, and then your heels are going to lower. So just keep repeating those little raises for me, up and then down. Now when you're doing this, I want you to think about your hips, your knees, your feet. 2 nice parallel lines. And I want you to think about your feet themselves. All of the toes are on the floor. So we're not rolling out to the little toe, we're not rolling in onto the big toe. So we're working right across the full surface of the top of the foot. You've got 4 more. Lower. Lift for 3. Bum muscles should be engaged the whole time. Last 2. Relax the upper body. Good. My last one, hold it up for me so the heels are high. Make sure all of the toes stay on the floor. The knees are going to open out to the kind of side, left and right, make a V shape, and your bum muscles are going to squeeze a little harder. Your hips are going to lift a little higher. Then the knees come back together. The hips might drop an inch. That's okay. But I want you to really feel the lift and the engagement through the bum as your knees come out wide. Good. So it's like a parallel knee, and then nice and wide with the knees into that V shape. So you're really getting the outside muscles of your bum switched on now. So your glute medius, your glute minimus, which are on the outside of your hips. Really important muscles for your hip, knee, ankle stability. So important for your balance the whole way down the legs. Good, you've got 3 left. Big toe heavy, squeeze the bum, push the hips up. Good, last 2. Focus on your tummy, drawing in. Good, last one. Knees out nice and wide, hold it. Now make sure the big toes are still down. You're going to hinge the hips, lower them down, and lift them up. Now, as you lower your hips, focus on keeping the back in the same shape. So we're not rounding, we're not arching, but we're lowering down and lifting up. Feet should be working hard as well here. So maybe you're lifting through the instep. Maybe you're working hard through your calves. You've got 4. Good. Or maybe you're cramping through your feet like me. Last 3. Good. Lower, lift for 2. Good. Last one. All the way up. Hold. Bring the knees back to parallel. Lower your heels down and roll your spine all the way down. And when you're at the bottom, just let your hands rest to your sides and let the knees just roll to the right and then roll to the left. So as you release off left and right, we'll just get a little bit of mobility through the SI joint, through the lower back. Good. Okay, come back to center and then just roll yourself up to sitting. You're going to start with a little bit of rolling back. So I want you to start right up on your sit bones and I want your feet flat on the floor. I want you to also imagine you've got a little string in the crown of your head and someone's pulled you up to the ceiling so you feel really tall. Your hands are going to come out in front with your palms turned towards each other. And you're going to roll your weight back. So you're scooping the tummy in, rolling the weight to the back of the sit bones, to the back of the pelvis, and getting that nice C curve through your spine. And then you come back up to sitting and repeat again. Now I want you to make sure as you're doing this roll back that you're really relaxing through the front of your legs. Sometimes we can kind of cling on through those hip flexors and use those a little too much. If you find no matter how hard you try, you can't relax, pop a cushion between your knees, squeeze your knees together, and focus on using inner thighs and connecting into your core as opposed to hanging off the front of those quad muscles. Good. You've got 3 more here. So rolling all the way back, maintain that nice openness through your chest. Scoop, hollow sit all the way up. Last 2. Good. Remember, we're rolling back through both sides, so you don't want to start to twist. Good. Now, last one, come back and hold it for me. Now, I want you to feel that the tummy is working. You're having to actively scoop the core in, and I want you to feel like you're 80 to 90% of the way there. You couldn't go back much further. You're going to take your right hand, reach it out to the right, bring it back to the center. Left hand reaches left and back to the center. Now, if that is you for today and you are working at your hardest, then that's okay. If you want to add a little bit more, turn your head and chest as well. And if you want to really go for it, let's go both arms same time. So opening the arms out, but not changing the shape of the back. So we're not pushing the chest through. We're keeping the back curved as we open the chest. Last 4. Good. Last 3. Keep breathing. Well done. Last 2. Okay, on your last one, hands come back to center. Again, you know if you need to, just grab the back of the thighs. If you can stay with me, we go one arm up, back in front, other arm up. We scissor the arms. So now that overhead raise, challenging the stability through the middle back. I want you to keep your ribs drawing down and in. Same thing, we can progress by going to double arm. You have 4. Reaching up, pull the ribs down. Exhale as you reach. Inhale as you lower. Good, last 2. Well done. Last one. Hands come down. We hold. Can we skip back a little more? Hold for 4. Relax shoulders. 3. Last 2. And 1. Sit up. Well done. Good. I want you to take your hands down onto the floor behind you. Now this is like a reverse plank position or a progression towards that. So your hands come down. Your fingertips point towards your hips. Your feet are flat on the floor. Now your arms are going to start off straight. And I want you to lift your hips up. Squeeze your bottom and roll the shoulders back. So you notice how I'm coming up into a nice tabletop-like position. and then the bum comes down again. So I just moved my feet a little there because you want your heels directly under your knees. You want to squeeze the bum muscles to bring them right up so that there's not a dip in the middle of the body. So you're not like a washing line, you're like a plank. So squeeze the bum, shoulder blades roll back and together, chest opens. So you should be looking at the floor as you lift up. Open your chest. Now, if you have a history of shoulder issues and you find this very difficult through the shoulders, maybe you find that turning the fingertips out gives you a little bit of help. Just what feels good for your body. So very much listen to your body. Obviously, I'm not delivering this class to you in person, so I can't see what you're doing. So you do need to have that little bit of body awareness and kind of take that little bit more control. Just making sure that those movements suit your body and you're performing them correctly. Last 3. Good, lift for 2. Pull the shoulder blades towards each other. Good. Last 1, come up and hold it for me. Now I want you to try and keep your hips up pretty high. Don't worry if they have a little bit of a drop. You're going to bend the elbows and then extend. So a little bend and a little extend. Now if I turn towards the camera, you'll notice that my elbows aren't flaring out to the sides. They're going behind my body. So I don't roll out here. I wrap the shoulder blades and I lower by bending the elbows. Just give me 4 more. If it's too much, that little hold is totally fine. Last 3. Strong but not locking out. Last 2. Well done. Our last 1. Lifting all the way up, straight arms, lift the hips again, squeeze the bum, roll the shoulders back, hold it for 4. Hold it for 3. Last 2. And 1. Well done. Bring your bottom down. Just take a little bit of a stretch here for those shoulders. So interlace your fingers behind your back. Roll your shoulders back, push the chest forward, and just open up through the front of your body. Now we're going to stay with those arms. So we're kind of doing 2 exercises back to back here just to really get them working. Spin onto your hands and knees for me. So there's going to be a little bit of legs here as well, but the arms are going to come into it. I want your hands directly below your shoulders, and I want your knees directly below your hips. Now you're going to take a little minute to find a neutral position through your back. So again, just like we did on the floor, you're making sure that your back isn't really curved one way or the other. You've got that little tiny curve through the lower back and the chest is open, the shoulders are down, away from the ears. Okay, your right leg is going to extend out behind you. So you're going to slide the right leg back, straighten it. And then we're going to squeeze the bum, lift the heel up to the same height as the hip, lower the foot down again. Now, in this exercise, definitely the most common mistake I see is the back arching. So people dropping through the tummy and moving through their back and not using the bum muscles at all. So we're extending through the front of the hip here, and you have to use your bum muscles to do that. I want you to make sure you're not extending through your back. So it's your core that is going to put the brakes on your back and stop it from moving. So we stabilize one part so we can work into another. Now, as you're doing this, there's a little extra level that you can add. So I want you to lift the leg up, hold it there, bend the elbows and let your body tip forward. So imagine you're trying to bring your chest down onto the floor between your hands. Push away from the floor and then bring the foot back down again. So you squeeze the bum, lift, the bum stays working so that as you bend the elbows, you maintain that lovely straight line from your head to your heel. Push back up, tap and lift. Good. So if it's too much, you just do the heel raise. If you want to challenge the upper body, you bend the elbows. Now, what a lot of people do in this exercise when they start to add the arms is sit back. Keep your weight going forward. So we're bringing the chest in between the hands, not the face in between the hands. Good, you 2 left. Bend, lower, elbows tight by your waist. Push away. Last one. Lift and lower. Bend all the way down. Come back up, hold it for me. Good. Now keep your legs straight, give me little pulses, squeeze the bum. Lifting that heel a little higher. Remember the back doesn't move. You've got 4. You've got 3. Last 2. And 1, well done. Now roll over onto your back again and we stay with that right bum muscle. We're going to work single leg, so bring yourself right the way down. And I want you to lift your hips up off the floor. So the bum muscle squeeze, nice fast transition. Pelvis is level. Your left knee is going to come up over your left hip. So you've got that knee directly above the hip. And then you're going to lower your bottom down just halfway. Lift the bottom up again. So as you lower, you think about hinging from the hips. You think about bringing the bottom just about a fist height off the floor and then bringing it all the way back up again. Now, a lot of the time as we start to tire and the bum muscle starts to give up, we start to arch the back, we start to pop through the ribs, and we turn it into this forceful, aggressive movement. We want control through the glutes, so I want you to make sure you really feel this right under your sit bone, right under the crease of your bum. And as you lift and lower, you focus on keeping the left knee above the hip and the right knee in front of the hip on the other side. Good. If you want to make it a little tougher, reach your arms to the ceiling. That way you don't have any stability from your hands. You have 4. Lower, lift for 3. Squeeze the right bum muscle hard. Last 2. Good. My last one, hold it up for me. Extend your left leg out so your 2 thighs are parallel. Bend your left knee in so it comes with the hip. Extend and then bend. Now, if this is enough work for you, stay here. Maybe you just want to stay with the hold, with the knee over the hip. If you want to coordinate a little bit more, as your leg goes out, your arms go back. As your leg comes in, your arms come in. So it's a lengthen and then a shorten. Good. Inhale, exhale. Now make sure the back isn't changing shape. So we're asking the core to work here as well, as the right bum muscle is burning away nicely in the background. You have 3 left. I know that it's on fire. Keep the ribs down. Last 2. Good. Okay, now last one. Lengthen all the way out. Bring your hands back in by the sides and give me little pulses. Down an inch, up an inch. Down and up for 4. Lift lower for 3. Push hard through your right heel. 2. Good. And 1. Well done. Bring your foot down. Bring your hips down. Just take a little stretch there by bringing your right foot over onto your left knee. Just gently press your right knee away. Now just check your lower back is not pushing into the floor. So I want you to pull a little bit of height under the lower back just for the fingertips to slide in. And if that gives you enough of a stretch there, then stay there. There's an option to take it a little bit of a deeper stretch by bringing your hands in behind your thigh and just pulling your thigh towards your chest, pointing your right knee out to the side. And you can do a little rock left and right. I sometimes move a little so I get a little bit more than just one area of the glute. Good, nice job. Okay, from here, just roll yourself back up again. And I want you to bring yourself over onto your hands and knees again. So come onto hands and knees and we go into that left side. So I want you to focus on shoulders down away from ears, neutral back position, and the left leg is going to straighten up this time. So remember, just like we said before, the back is what stays nice and still. You move by using your bum muscle. So it's a tap and a lift. Now as you're lifting here, just make sure that the left side of your pelvis hasn't lifted higher than the right side. So both sides of my pelvis are shining down onto the floor. I'm not twisting my hips towards the camera. So nice and open across the chest. If I turn front ways onto the camera, you should be able to see my right hip swinging out to the side. So there's no movement laterally here. It's all about that lift by using the bum. Now, a lot of people think that they have a weak core, and sometimes they do, but I think a lot of the time the glutes are a part of the problem as well. They're so important for helping you to keep your pelvis in the right position, and they do a lot of the work that the back should not be doing, or the back sometimes does work the glutes should be doing. So I want you to make sure you really engage with the bum muscle. Now hold your next one up for me. And we're going to start to add the arms if we can. We bend the elbows, the body tips forward, and then we push away, come back up. Lower the toe, and then lift. So as you're coming down, trying to come right down through the center, I want you to make sure you're not swinging off to one side. And if you have not done this exercise before, don't worry if it's only a little bit of a bend. Your strength will come. It takes time. It's not the sort of thing that just happens overnight. So slowly but surely, you will build that strength as you progress. So tap and lift. You've got 2 more. Try to really keep the elbows wrapping in tight. Back neutral, down and up, lower, and then push away. Last one, hold it. Little pulses. Keep that heel pushing to the ceiling. The foot is flexed. The bum muscle active. 5 and 4. Good. Breathe. 3 and 2. On the 1, bring that foot down. You're going to roll back onto your back and then bring yourself into your bridges again. So a little bit of burnout through the bum here. Hips are going to lift. Double leg bridge to start with. Pelvis stays level. And then your right knee comes up into that tabletop position. So hold in there. Lower the hips down to about halfway. Lift the hips all the way up again. So my left side is definitely weaker than my right side. That comes from years of athletics long jump. So long jumping off my right hand side, which is definitely stronger for me. So for me, I have to really focus on this left side, keeping my pelvis, my knee in line, and making sure I don't let the knee roll in and the hips swing out. So maybe your left side dominant and this side feels easier for you. Focus on keeping your ribs relaxed down, your core drawn in. You have 4 left. Good, 3 more like this. Push through your heel. Last 2, I am already burning. Last 1, hold it up. Now keep the hips high. Extend the leg out, thighs parallel. Bend the knee back in. So as you extend, there's going to be a temptation to arch your back. So I want you to make sure that that is not happening. If you can do that, bring the arms into it. Extend the arms back and then bring the arms over the shoulders again. The core works the whole time to keep you nice and steady, and your body is really working to keep the hips up. You have 4. Inhale. You've got 3. You're almost there. You were able to do it on the other side, so let's even the sides up. Last 2. Good. Now last 1, leg out long. Arms come back to the sides. Little tiny pulses, just up an inch. Lift up. Don't pop the ribs for 3, for 2, for 1. Well done. Hips down, foot down. Take your stretch. Left foot to the right knee. Gently press the left knee away. And then remember not to just push your back against the floor. So we want that neutral spine. If you need more of a stretch, hands come behind the right thigh and we just draw the right thigh in that little bit closer and get the stretch through the left glute. Lower back still got that little bit of space underneath it. Good. Okay, you're going to bring your feet down and I want you to take yourself into an imprint position. So if you haven't done my classes before, some people teach imprint, which is your lower back tilting towards the floor, your pelvis tilting back, so your lower back comes towards the floor. Now your knees are going to come up one at a time. So as your knees come up, they should be directly above your hips. A lot of us have the tendency to collapse the knees into the thighs, or into the chest, and that takes a lot of work out of the core. So you should find that this is challenging your lower tummy, but you're still able to keep your back on the floor. If you can't, 1 foot comes down, or if you're just postnatal, or if you have a lot of lower back issues, I would say keep 1 foot on the floor here. So you're going to stay tabletop if you can. Your tummy draws in. Your hands are going to come behind your head, and you're going to breathe in. As you exhale, I want you to tuck your chin. I want you to lift your chest, and you're going to lift your body up off the floor and roll your shoulder blades back down again. So breath in, prepare. Breath out to lift. Now I want height here, so I really want you to focus on trying to get your breastbone up to your thighs. And when I first started Pilates, I found my neck was always tiring first because I was leading with my chin. Lead with your chest. So imagine someone's caught you by the scruff of your neck and they're pulling you up towards your thighs. So your head will follow your body. It's attached by the neck, so it will come with you. You don't really need to think about it. But just make sure your lower back stays on the floor and your knees are not starting to migrate back towards your chest. So 4 more here. Breathe out on the way up. That's going to encourage those ribs into the right position. Last 3. Lots of height. Keep the hands light on the back of the head. Last 2. Okay, now last 1, come up, hold it for me. If you can hold it, you just stay here. If you can do a little bit more, little tiny pulses. Up an inch, down an inch, up an inch, down an inch. Now you can add a little bit extra. As you lift up, one leg shoots out. Lower back leg comes in. So pulse, extend, release back in. Pulse, extend, release back in. We lift the chest, we lengthen the leg for 4. Breathe, good. 3. Perfect. Chest open, 2. Good. Last 1, lift. Bring the knees back together. Grab them and pull them to your chest. Well done. Have a little release left and right. And take that work off the core and bring your lower back into a bit of a stretch. Okay, we're going to do a little set here for the sides of the body, but we're going to do it kind of on loop. So it is going to be tough endurance-wise. Remember, as I said, as always, listen to your own body. So if you're finding it very tough, if you need that little breather, come down. It's all about the quality of the movement and it's about building your endurance in safe positions. So you're going to start off in a forearm plank. So I want you to bring yourself down so that your forearms are on the floor, making an 11 shape. You're going to step your feet back full length. And I want you to make sure your shoulders are over your elbows and your bum muscles are engaged. Now this is a really active position, so you shouldn't feel like this is a breeze. You should be pulling those core muscles in. Imagine you're trying to pull your knees up towards your elbows, so you're creating that tension through the tummy. Your hips aren't too high, and they're definitely not too low. This is a much more dangerous position than the hips being too high. Okay, so just hold in there for me. Now from here, you're going to turn onto your left side. Your left hand comes across to where your right elbow was, and you reach your right hand to the ceiling. Now notice how my feet have stayed in the same place but just turned. So my toes are still in the same place. My right foot's in front, my left foot's behind. Good. Come back through center this time. Right hand comes over the left elbow and you turn the other way. Reach and lift. Now the underneath waist is lifted. I'm pushing away from the floor with my elbow. I'm wrapping my inner thighs together. And my bum muscles are engaged to push my hips through. Same again, rotate. So bring that left hand in under, thread, rotate, and then restack. Now this time you're going to hold here for me. I want you to make sure the inner thighs are squeezing together. I want you to make sure you're pushing away from the floor with that underneath elbow. You're going to lower the hips, lift the hips, lower and lift. Imagine there's a big harness around your waist and someone's pulling it to the ceiling, or someone's grabbing your top hand and lifting you up for 4. Good, lift for 3, breathe. Exhale 2. Good, last one, we turn, bring the hand down, rotate the other way. Rolling over, left foot in front, right foot behind you, reach. You lower the hips, lift the hips, lower and lift. Get your range. So the more range you will move those muscles through, the more the muscle fibers you're going to target. You've got 3, lift. You've got 2, zipper, last one. You're going to turn and come back to that forearm plank we started with, bringing your elbows to the floor under your shoulders. Check your hips aren't collapsing, bum muscles tight. You're going to draw little circles, left, forward, right, and back. Left, forward, right, back. Good, do one more this way, right, and back, and then change directions. So working through the core, challenging by moving through different planes, and thinking about keeping that back nice and supported. Good, one more, big circle, and then rest in the center, knees come down, well done. Take another shell stretch. So just push your hips all the way back, round that spine. Take a nice deep inhale and spread across the back of your chest as you take your breath in to get those shoulders into that lovely stretch. Okay, you're going to come back to hands and knees, curl your toes in under, lift your knees up and straighten the legs. Now I want you to push back towards your feet, so you're extending your back, and you'll get a lovely big stretch on your hamstrings and your calves. And just give me a little pedal. Good, and then I want you to walk yourself all the way up to standing. Roll your body back up. I'm going to finish with a little bit of lunging. So you're going to lunge here in a nice dynamic movement. So before we actually start, I want you to just bring your hands onto your hips. Now we were doing a lot of work through the glutes today. So I want you to remember your glutes are here to help you keep the pelvis in the right position, and so is your core. So when we're lunging, what I don't want you to do is let your bum stick out, your back arch, and your tummy push forward. Squeeze your bum to keep the tail under the body and the core pulls in. So when we're lunging, the body stays in a nice upright position. The torso is aligned with the hips. So you're going to start with your right foot forward. You're going to lunge back with your left foot. Just hold it. Now take a second to look at my positions. Hopefully I'm demonstrating them well. So you can see my front knee is over my front hip. My back knee is under my back hip. And my torso is over my hips. So there's a little bit of core involved and a little bit of a squeeze of the bum. A slight lean forward is okay, but we're definitely not here or here. So body nice and tall. So that is your back position. You stand up, the knee comes through. You step back, the knee goes down. Now, if you've been doing Pilates or fitness in general for a while, I want you to try and work through good range. So see if you can get your left knee down towards the floor. Maybe you can tap the floor. And then as you stand up, you squeeze your right bum muscle. So you're not throwing your body back. Keep your torso aligned over your hips. So the core isn't just for planks and sit-ups. The core is for that spinal stabilization, which you carry through all of your functional movements, whether it's picking up something off the floor, whether it's lifting weights in the gym, whether it's just out doing gardening. Spinal stabilization is so important. So being able to keep this area nice and braced as you do dynamic things is really important. Last 3, squeeze the bum. 2, all the way up. Now last one, hold it back for me. Chest is up, core is in. Keep your arms out in that nice high V position. Give me little pulses. Down an inch, up an inch. Shoulders relaxed, chest is open. 5, 4, last 3, last 2. You're going to hold the 1 for me. You're not going to let yourself actually lift up any higher. You're just going to extend your back leg, tip forward, bend your back leg, come upright. So really reach, push away from the back foot, and then back knee bends, come up tall. You have 2 left, lengthen, And then bend. Last one, lengthen out. And then bend. Now hold it. I know the leg's on fire. Can you go a little bit deeper? And then when you're there, can you lift your front heel? Hold it. Hold it, hold it. Lift up that heel. Like, can you give me little pulses? Just for 5. Just for 4. Chest relax. 3. Last 2. On the one, hold. Drop your heel. Hold, hold, hold. 3 and 2 and 1. Stand up. Well done. Good. Swapping sides. So your left foot is going to be the front. Your right foot is going to step back. This is your last bit of work, so stay with me. Step back. Arms reach overhead. Step up. Hands come down. So remember those positions. Front knee over the front heel. Back knee under the back hip. Pelvis is not twisting. So if I turn front waist to face the camera, you'll notice how both sides of my pelvis are the same distance to you. I'm not twisting and turning on the back foot. So stability, no rotation, and loading properly through those joints to prevent injury. Good, you 4. Nice and tall, squeeze the left bum muscle. 3. Pushing down into the floor. 2. Good, last one, you come down, hold it. Good, you're nearly there. So you draw the tummy in, you stay nice and low, arms in high V, little pulses. So as you pulse, think about something nicer than this, like your lunch. Relax your shoulders, food's my go-to. Think about keeping your ribs drawn down and in. You have 5, you have 4. Last 3, last 2. Now hold the one, stay low. Good. Like stand back leg, push away from the floor, lengthen the body. Back knee bends, reach to the ceiling. Good. So push away from the floor, feel your body reach. Bend the back knee, restack, realign. 2 left. Front knee over the midline of the foot. We don't roll the knee in or out. Good. Last one, lengthen away. And then bend, hold. Now this is the bit where you really dig in. You lower the knee a little more. You lift the front heel. Hold it, get your stability. Little pulses, down an inch, up an inch. 5 and 4. Can you go lower? 3. Last 2. Hold the 1. Lower your heel. Hold it for me. 3 for 2 and 1. Stand up. Well done. Good. Give the legs a little shake out. Just take your feet significantly wider than your hips. So you're not in a squat stance here. You're definitely much wider than that. Bring your hands onto your hips. Bend your right knee. Sit your bottom back, reach your tail back and come into a nice side lunge. So you're getting a stretch through your adductor on that left side. Push back up through center, squeeze the bum, and then go to the left. If you're not getting a stretch, obviously just take your feet a little bit wider. Just make sure as you're side lunging, your hips go back, your chest goes forward. We're not rounding, and we're definitely not just bending the knees and dropping into the ankles. So your hips go back first, and that's what brings you into that nice hinge position. Good. Last one. Doesn't matter what side you're on, stay down. And then just do a little transfer across to the right, to the left. Fixing the knees out, not knocking them in. Good. 4. Last 3. Last 2. Good. Now on the 1, come back to center, both legs straight. I want you to hinge again, so the hips go back, the body comes forward. And then if you can, bring your hands to the floor. Now from there, just walk your hands to the right. You'll feel the stretch a little more in the right leg. So keeping that nice reaching sensation. And then walk your hands to the left, taking the stretch to the inside of the left leg. And then come back through center. See if you can take your weight a little bit further forward so it's in the midfoot. Your back is long and you relax down through the head. And then just bring your feet back in. So you're kind of heel-toeing your feet back in towards the center. You may need to keep a little bend in your knees. And then just roll yourself right up to standing. Restack lower, middle, upper. And give your shoulders a nice big roll back. You're going to finish with a side bend. Interlace the fingers, reach to the ceiling. Side bend to your right, your hips go left. Roll the body forward. Come up the other side. Change directions, go side bend to the left. Hips go right. Roll the body forward. Come up the other side. When you're at the top, big inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, relax the shoulders down. Do another big shrug lift. And lower. Whew. And you're all done. Good job. Thanks so much for joining, everybody. Yeah, as I said, we had a few of you in there, so I hope you all find that good. And hopefully we'll be back next week. There should also be a little bit of a mobility class coming as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah, feel free to share so that more people can kind of access our workouts. But thank you so much, and have a great day.